Hi, this is John, and this is Citizen Survival Plan. We're going to do some topics on cooking today. I brought out everything that I recommended. I kind of went through, how you would survive and have good food in an emergency. Again, we're always going to assume the grocery stores aren't open and you have no power and no running water. That's how all my preps are planned. They should work all the time without anything. They should be a standalone operation. So with that said, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you have a camp stove that runs on propane. And I talked about this in water. You can go back to that. Make sure you have that valve that you can refill those from your bigger grill propane, your 20 pound, because those are 1 pound and they'll run out. I didn't bring it back out for this, but make sure that you have that. Another thing that is not on the table that I'm going to mention right now before I get started is have an outdoor wood stove. Again, I'll put a picture and a link below to one that you can use outside for cooking or even drying clothes. It does that too. We'll get on later into that for hygiene and stuff. I got a couple things up here. This is baby formula. If you have a baby, you're going to want to stockpile this, whether your wife is breastfeeding or not. Again, we're going to assume there's no power, so she's not going to be able to store breast milk in a fridge. We're going to talk about power a little bit later on. There's a way to do that, but running a fridge takes a lot of energy and power, and you're not always going to know if you're going to have enough, even if you're running solar. So even if your wife is breastfeeding, definitely stock up on a ton of formula. And when your baby's old enough and you don't use it, give it to a charity. You don't have to worry about it at all then. This stores for a long time when it's unopened. Back to the stove. This is just a little tea kettle, a little camp kettle. I don't think it's a tea kettle. Get yourself some good campware to actually cook on. I've used this stove camping before. I love this stove. This is the Coleman Triton stove. I didn't really do that much research into the stoves. Coleman's always made good propane stoves. That's just the one that I went with. I'm sure there's other brand like Ozark Trailer or whatever that makes good ones too. I would just don't get a super cheap one. This is just an extra little burner, and this just sits on top of a propane canister. Again, just a couple different ways. Another thing I want to mention that's not in the video is most people have a propane grill. Especially the one with the little off burner off to the side, so you can boil water on that too. A couple different ways. I love propane. I'm going to say it over and over again. Propane's the best way to store fuel in an emergency because it lasts so long. You don't have to worry about it really expiring. Someone's going to have to tell me, when does propane actually expire? Because I've used tanks that are 10 years old before that have been sitting that work perfectly fine. Never had an issue with any propane expiring. I have this water jug up here. Again, when you're cooking, you're going to need to clean things, especially if you're going to cook like canned food and actually use dishes. You're going to use a ton of water. You're going to need a sink to wash it. Back to my water video. Make sure you can have clean drinking water for cleaning, cooking. That's going to be important, but this is just cooking right now, so we're going to go over that, cooking and eating. I like freeze-dried food the most. I know it's the most expensive, but canned food, a lot of it's really high in like salt and stuff, and you can get sick from it if you're eating it a long time. Freeze-dried food is the way to go. I know it's super expensive. All this is going to be expensive. It just is. There's no other way around it. Anyone who's going to tell you you're going to get prepared for a pretty rough emergency and it's only going to cost you $100 or something, they're just lying to you. This is going to cost you thousands of dollars. There's just no way around it. Freeze-dried food stores basically indefinitely. I'll say it says 25 years, but I'll call that indefinitely. These are the two brands I recommend the most. This is Augustin Farms, and they make all kinds of fruits, vegetables in cans or in bags. I don't have an Augustin Farm bag out here. This is Mountain House. just as good. Mountain House and Augustin Farms is pretty much the best. I also mentioned in all of my videos, everything that I'm going to put out, I have absolutely no affiliation whatsoever to anybody, and that's across the board. That there's not a single product that is affiliated with me. This is just off my research and what I've looked at. The cans are good. I want to take that down. This is beef. Oh, sorry, that's milk. My camera's messing with me here. This is a can of Mountain House beef. A lot of the emergency meals don't have much protein in them. You're gonna want to, like when you cook something, this is just beef. There's chicken. I think they make some other stuff. Diced beef, ground beef. They have chicken. This is diced. You're gonna want to add some protein into these, especially if you bought another brand that I really don't recommend. I don't want to trash them, but what is this Wise Company? Wise Company basically doesn't have any protein in it. I think they might make protein packs, but as far as I can tell, the meals have no protein. It's just carbs. A lot of that for the My Patriot supply stuff too. It's mostly just starches, carbs. There's not a lot of protein in it. And that's going to be important. When you put this stuff back, make sure that you did your research on it. I have My Patriot Supply. I want to give them credit. They do make meat pails where they have like all the different meats freeze dried and stuff. But as far as I can tell, somebody can correct me on that. And I'll tell you what, they don't list the nutrition ingredients on that package anywhere, where I'm pretty sure, yeah, Mountain House does. I think Augustin Farms does too. I don't know if you can get in there. This is, yeah. Even this doesn't have much. That's why I recommend getting that and adding it. If you're going to be cooking out of these cans, you're going to be making dishes, which is why you're going to need a lot of soap, and you're going to need some sponges and stuff to make sure you can clean up afterwards. This is more cost effective doing it like this. You get more too, like in one big can, and you can open that and kind of use it for the week. These are just convenient because all you need to do is boil water, and you don't really have any dishes when you boil water. It's just boiled water. You have nothing to clean up out. You can just keep using that pot to boil water all week. But this is the downside to this, is you're going to create garbage. Throughout some of the 2020 riots and pandemic stuff, we saw that in New York City, the trash collection stopped. And I think that in the next emergency, we're going to see that maybe on even a larger scale. We didn't have a problem with it here, but it can happen. And that's just one downside to this. But these are the best. You can get it in anything you want. You can get vegetables, fruit. This is banana chips. You're going to want to round your diet out. Anyone who says you're just going to buy a bunch of MREs, or you're going to buy a bunch of Campbell's Chunky Soup or something, and you're just going to live like that, those people are going to be hard up. You are going to feel not good. You're going to feel really bad. Especially if you have kids, like you're going to want to feed them right too, which is, I got milk here. I think this is the same thing. I think this is a little less for storage. I have to look at it again. I put this back a while ago. I know it's at least 10 years for storage on this. This is Augustin Farms too. This is the powdered milk. Kind of goes back to kids too. Once they stop drinking formula, they drink whole milk. This is at least something. You're going to be feeding them other stuff too. You're going to want to give them milk too, especially little toddlers and stuff. Yeah, so consider the fact when you put any food back, just how are you going to cook it? Do you have enough fuel to cook all that food? Do you have a can opener? Make sure you have a can opener. Definitely, this is part of cooking. This is the kind of stuff, I can't put every tiny little item, but a lighter. This is just like a Bic lighter, because you got to light your propane stoves. You're not going to want to have those like ferro rods or whatever. Not that I don't recommend having some of those, but yeah, you're going to need to light everything. Yeah, make sure you get around a roundabout. I will link the Augustin Farms and Mountain House in the descriptions. I can't put every little meal is. You got to pick out what you want. I don't know. I don't know what everyone likes to eat. Buy the stuff you're actually going to eat. Buy the stuff that is going to be something that you and your family will eat. So I think that about wraps it up for cooking. I can't think of anything else. I mentioned having a grill. I mentioned having the wood stove. Definitely do that. Because when it's a nice day out, you're not going to want to burn your propane out. And you have wood, you could start at, and you can boil water on that, and you could just burn some wood. Because you're going to want to conserve propane. You can store as much as propane as you want for whatever emergency you think you want to be prepared for. I would recommend make sure you have enough propane and food for a minimum of 3 months for your whole family. Watch on those pails that you buy. It'll say it feeds 4 people or something, but it might only feed 4 people for like a day. So watch that. Yeah, definitely keep your eye on that. And that's gonna wrap it up for today. I have even more content coming. It's gonna keep coming out of here. We're gonna talk about everything, but that's gonna be it for today. Thanks, guys.